Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy Show. We're going to be talking about Splat. I don't know what else to say than I am Groot. Hit the music.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy Show. I am Captain Fizz.
And I am Groot. No, I'm not. I'm not Mask Guy.
It continues to amaze me from show to show of how your enthusiasm changes. Some days you are the, monotone.
The monotone warrior.
And other days you are this weird, fanatical creature.
Hello, I am El Hombre Loco Enmascarado. The big word in that is loco.
Definitely loco.
Definitely a loco.
So, a few weeks back we mentioned how Nickelodeon was putting on a new TV show. Nothing was announced at that point on how they were doing it or what they were doing.
The Splat.
Until now.
The Splat.
Unfortunately, if you are listening to us from Canada or elsewhere other than the States, you pretty much are out of luck.
No Splat.
No Splat. So it is going to be airing in the US from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. starting October 5th, which is really awesome because 90% of the Americans who are watching these 90 shows are going to be stoned.
Very true, comrade.
So the list that they have announced, and there could be more, there could be less, I really hope there's more, is All That, The Angry Beavers, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Cat Dog, Clarissa Explains It All, and that's pretty much my opinion on some of them. Hey Arnold, Hey Dude, Kenan and Kel, Ren and Stimpy Show, Legends of the Hidden Temple, Rocco's Modern Life, Rugrats, Salute Your Shorts, and The Wild Thornberries. Now, there's a few in there that I do not recognize the names from, and I was from the 90s, so that's really sad. They're delving really deep into their little barrel of monkeys. A lot of them, like Cat Dog. I'm really excited for Cat Dog to be able to watch that again. I'm going to be... Well, okay, I'm excited for the Americans to watch Cat Dog again.
I don't know, it's hard for me to get enthusiastic about a channel that we are not even going to be able to get here in Canada.
Yet.
Americans, I sort of envy you a little bit, kind of. If it wasn't for the fact that I think Canada being Canadian is cool, I probably would be envious. But you know what? Hey! Oh, Canada! Woohoo!
See, but they're not confirming that it's just the States. Most American, stations, programs do come up to Canada, so there's a huge possibility it is all of North America. Don't quote me on that. I am about as clueless as most people at this moment.
I think part of that is that they have to go through the CRTC to get approval to show on Canadian
and the
channel.
The CRTC wouldn't approve their own mother if they were asked.
Hey, they don't know good Canadian television when they see it, so who knows if they're going to allow good American television here.
Yeah, and some of these are definitely phenomenal TV, like especially, The Angry Beavers. One of my favorite TV shows, very strange TV show, but really good. And this show's really making me feel old in more ways than I want to admit. Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was a very classic TV show, which they did have a spin-off in Canada, I believe.
Well, as far as I know, it was a Canadian show. It was funny the number of young Canadian actors who appeared on that show.
Right, right. It was there was another one that was an American spin-off. I can't remember what it was, but they were like gathered around campfires and things like that. It was always a classic. I loved Are You Afraid of the Dark? It was one of my favorite TV shows growing up, other than Goosebumps, which I am really surprised Goosebumps is not on this list.
That may have something to do with the author.
Yeah, but you got R.L. Stine who's making this movie about himself, but not bringing back the TV shows, which is kind of a rare anomaly. I'm not a big fan of that one. There was definitely some shows that were left off that I think should have been put on this list. Real Monsters.
I'm shocked by that one. I mean, that one was okay.
Cow and Chicken.
Yeah.
Come on. If you are going to add any show to this list, what you're going to put on for 90s kids who are going to be stoned while watching, a story about a man and a woman who have a cow and chicken for kids is the perfect show.
I mean, come on. It's the theme song alone is just awesome. I mean, come on. Mama had a chicken. Mama had a cow. Dad was proud. He didn't care how.
Yeah, no,
he was just. I mean, honestly, it doesn't get much better than that, unless it's I Am Weasel
and I Are Baboon.
Yes.
I used to watch that show all the time growing up, and it was
I Am Weasel.
It was one of my favorite cartoons. I can't take you seriously at this moment.
I'm sorry. I'm really tired, and when I get tired,
you start acting like Captain Fizz.
I tend to be a little bit more bizarre, so...
Yeah. The one show I'm really not surprised on is, of course, Rugrats.
That show was on for 10 seasons.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole reason why they went off and decided to do the series All Grown Up is, hey, they've been babies for 10 years, might as well make them teenagers.
Yeah, but see, was All Grown Up in the 90s, or did that happen after?
Again, that was 10 years after Rugrats had been on for 10 years. And I don't really know.
So probably, sometime in the 2000s. So it wouldn't be on this channel because it's 90s only. The Ren and Stimpy show. You have the Ren and Stimpy show, but you don't have Beavis and Butthead.
Well, Ren and Stimpy were a tad bit more, shall we say, family-friendly than Beavis and Butthead were. Mind you, I mean, this is going to be a network that's going to be airing everything at night. I mean... an 8-hour block from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. with 13 different shows. So that means that there's probably 1 or 2 shows that are going to be on for an hour.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely a big fan of that. So basically, you're going to have the same shows every night, every day. It's I don't know.
But at least
how long can you keep this up?
I don't know. Again, I mean, Rugrats was on for 10 seasons. So, I don't know exactly how many seasons, but say that they went off and did, 20 episodes for every season. That's 200 episodes that they could do. If they went off and it showed, 10 to 15 episodes,
But see, keep in mind, that's basically less than a year.
Absolutely.
So,
but, you don't go off and show every episode.
No,
you just go off and you show, say, the first season of a show. And then when you're done, that season, you just, re-show that, the season again. And then midway through the year, you go off and you bring in the next season.
See, I question the point when this channel becomes obsolete. When you start showing the same things over and over and over again, people are going to stop watching. People are going to stop caring. It doesn't matter how good these shows are. I just don't see the viewership staying up with it as long as anyone expects. I'm
kind of expecting Splat to be kind of similar to Teletoon Retro up here in Canada, where it's more for like nostalgia than anything else. For people who aren't aware of Teletoon Retro, they have a lot of the classic shows. I mean that we grew up in. And shoot, that my parents even grew up on. I mean, they had Rocket Robin Hood and Hercules on there from like the 1960s, I think it was.
See, the problem I have with this Nickelodeon Splat. Now, I love the concept. Even if it's not coming up to Canada, I love the concept. I do love the idea of bringing back 90s TV shows. But majority of us who grew up with these 90s TV shows, we work jobs.
Yes.
So to stay up from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. watching cartoons is not the ideal way to live your life.
Well, no, Kate. I'm just sitting here because, with Telltale Retro, what they would do is they would show 2 hours of episodes. And then they go on to another show. So I'm wondering if that's what we're going to do. Where, say Monday we're going to have, a few episodes of Rugrats and Cow and Chicken. And then the next day, we're going to have the Wall Thornberries and Angry Beavers.
Yeah, see, the problem with that theory, and I do like that theory, don't get me wrong, is there's, on their website, they're not saying, shows to be announced. This is a set, list of shows that are being put on there. It doesn't seem like there's going to be any more on there. And I just don't see the creativity on the idea of that.
Well, again, how much creativity do you really need when you're bringing in, a bunch of shows that were big hits or at least moderate hits 30 years ago?
Yeah, but see, 30 years ago, you had one set day for each of these shows. And,
I should say 20 years ago, but whatever.
I think, honestly, if there are so many classic TV shows around that time that they could easily redo now what they did back then and have, every Thursday have this set of shows. Every Tuesday have this set of shows.
That's what I think ultimately is what we're going to see here. It's just that right now, they're still in, the development process. That's why we don't know if
this is coming out October 5th. This is like 3 days away.
So 3 days away, and so we're just going to go by a seat of our pants here because we only announced this ourselves here, I believe, 2 weeks ago.
I believe it was about 2 weeks ago that we first, were informed that Nickelodeon was doing their own TV channel.
And so this has been confirmed, though. This is a channel. This isn't just an 8-hour block that they're going to use or overnight on their own, Nickelodeon channel.
You see, and this is the question I have. If they're doing their own TV channel for, the 8 hours a day from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. What's the point of having their own TV channel if they're not even confirming what's going on from say 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So they got an entire huge day with nothing going on, but you got this 90s TV channel happening at night, and it just doesn't make sense to me. They're not really cluing in people on what they're doing for the rest of the day. I don't know. There's just a lot of empty holes and a lot of questions that, they don't seem to be answering or want to answer.
I agree. The very concept of having a show that's on at night doesn't really make sense at all.
Yeah, well, most of us have kids. We work. We have this life now that, you can't spend 8 hours every night watching these cartoons. Yeah, it's nice to reminisce about, when we were a kid and a lot of TV shows that, what classic TV used to be. But, I'm sorry, once the sun goes down, my eyes are done. I don't want to be sitting 8 hours every night watching cartoons just because I missed them. Today's age, we have computers that you can download things. You have Netflix, you can find things. You got so many different programs.
Absolutely,
you can find these things. I don't understand the legitimacy of having a program just for these when there's so many other aspects to hunt for these things.
Oh, absolutely. In the era where you can literally binge watch your favorite shows.
In a day.
Exactly, in a day, whether it's Netflix or in the States, you have Amazon and the Hulu.
Show Me, that's now also in Canada.
Show Me and Crave as well, up here in Canada. There's so many different,
plus the countless downloading programs just to find, the torrents and all that. Just to get these TV shows, it just doesn't seem feasible.
Absolutely, and the fact that, again, this is, the block that, has been announced has been, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.